So talking about, interesting, the camera goes, oh, okay, so I thought that was the amount of time left on the camera till the,
Till the memory ran out?
yeah, till it was full, but it's not, it films for 26 minutes at a time. Like it or lump it.
Okay, so that, we can't feel the battery at this stage, right?
Well, actually 27 minutes.
Okay.
So I don't know how much time's left on this memory or the battery, but we'll just go with this camera until you drop or the camera drops. So that's it. I've had one story too many. One Larry story too many.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't blame it.
Yeah, going back, your mother talking about furniture. You happened to mention that your mother got furniture like every so often.
Yeah. My mother was a fashion person. My mother was a seamstress. My mother had all the Vogue patterns. My mother always dressed to the nines, as they used to say. And she never bought. As Sandy Bryson would say, it was built, not bought. My mom made all her own outfits. And then, of course, that was, in those days, then she would show up in it. And the one that she made, and then all the women go, wow, I've never seen that before. And then, of course, she got the business. Then she would make the outfits for them. And she had the little rig at home to measure them with. She had the tapes, and she had all the fabric, and then she made lots of mad money doing that. When they went on vacation, not only was the flight paid for, but the vacation was usually paid for with the funds out of my mother's extracurricular activities.
Her seamstress.
Yeah, and she would make Barbie doll stuff, and most people just hated Barbie doll stuff. It's quite easy to make a full-size human dress, but it's really tough to make that little fastidious Barbie stuff.
So on a tiny little
And there was a huge untapped demand for that, right?
Yeah.
And Barbie didn't argue and didn't say it wouldn't fit nice or it wasn't the right color. So then their children would get unique outfits that nobody else had. You couldn't buy at the store with all the little frizzy stuff. My mom would make all that. And then the cast-offs from that, they went in car interiors, Ted. Corduroy interiors on my best interior ever on my 59 Buick. I decouped a coupe and made it a convertible. And then my mom had corduroy and she had all the little fancy fabric and we made stick shifts out of the needles, right? And I asked my mom if I could have this or that. Sure. And then, remember the little furry stuff? You had the false furry collars and whatever, and little ones around here. Oh yeah, hey, hot rod, instant hot rod interior. Nobody had good interiors as I did back in the day.
Wow.
All because my mom was a seamstress, right? She did that. And her and Gladys were seamstresses together here in Vancouver, and they both worked, I believe, for Hudson's Bay.
Oh, so
right?
That's where your mother...
Yeah, so that's where she learned her trade. I don't know if she went to school to learn that. I was never privy to that.
Yeah.
But my mother could make you a suit, right? And she had the best thing my mother ever did is after the Beatles were on television, on the Ed Sullivan Show, they all wore suits without collars. I went to school next day in the suit jacket without the collar and a regular jacket without the collar before they even hit the stores. And I was a celebrity. Where'd you get that? My mom made it. Your mother? Wow. Impressive. And I report back, yeah, Mom, they liked it good. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had that. And she made me a mod belt and a mod shirt with all those crazy fabric at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So any orders that we had, my mom made me a Volkswagen jacket, and she did the logo to perfection. And it was a jacket where the arms had worn through.
Yeah.
So she trimmed it all in green, put a Volkswagen crest on the back. So I was a Volkswagen club member. Ron Harris and I, we wear our Volkswagen jackets when we went cruising, right? We had credibility.
Wow.
Yeah.
People ask where you get that cool.
And the Desi's Den pillows with the 2 Ds in them. My mom made the pillows up, put the double Ds in them, and Daryl had them proudly displayed in Desi's Den.
So what kind of sewing machine did your mother have?
A singer.
A singer,
Yeah, I could sing. Yeah.
Wow.
And my mom in the middle of this had a bad back and was in traction for like 3 months, right? Because she had a bad back. And it just collapsed her, and she was a...
When in the middle of this, what do you mean?
All the sewing in the middle of our times, every once in a while, right? She had to go to the hospital. That's when my dad had to learn to cook. And we say he never learned. He's the only man who could burn carrots. And we just, we couldn't wait to harass my father. He couldn't cook anything, right? And carrots, if anybody can wreck carrots, that's pretty bad. How can you burn carrots? My father managed to do that, so he struggled. That's when all the food just showed up at the door. My mom was in the hospital, and there'd be a pot pie outside. They'd knock on the door, and you go to the door. There it was, sitting there. And other people would wait till you got there and hand it to you and say, "No, Jeannie's sick now, and we have to look after you, Cecil." And that's what they did.
So your mother was a fashion hound, you said?
Yeah, you saw the pictures of my mom early on. She was a good-looking woman,
Yeah,
and she
she
knew
was-
how to dress herself
yeah.
to make herself look attractive. She played on that.
And so she bought furniture.
So I'd say every 3 years, she got a
Oh.
new sofa. And other people kept the one they were married with is the one they died with, right? Not my mother. None of that bullshit for her. No
Yeah.
way. So she had nice furniture and decent carpeting and whatever in the house. Had to be nice.
So the where did she go buy? Where did she go furniture shopping?
Wherever it was on sale, and that wasn't very often, Ted. She
Oh,
went to
okay.
Force, and there were places. There were a couple of furniture stores. I don't remember the furniture coming from Sears. And I remember in the 60s when you watch Mad Men and you see the little spindly sofas with the little legs that run out at an angle and all done up in brown. She had one of those, right? And she had the early 40s stuff
Yeah.
with all the corduroy on it. I remember those too. And she had one chair and a stool that went with it. All the furniture matched. There's no mismatch. She had nice lamps.
Yeah.
But then she could afford that because she could get that with all the other seamstressing, and she would work for the post office, right? And then she went
What'd you do for the post office?
sorting letters, right? Especially at Christmas time when they were understaffed. And she had little political connections.
Yeah.
She had connections within the Liberal parties.
Oh, so she
Yeah,
would
so they
also do
owed
the
her-
census and the
Yeah.
the voting.
The census and the city
registry.
directory. When I got my
Yes.
license, that was the best job then. Because my mother would go house to house doing the city. I would just following her. And I would do anything to drive. It didn't matter. You know what it's like. You don't care. And my mother had her own private chauffeur. Life was good.
Yeah.
Life was good. Yeah. That 65 Falcon put lots of city directory kilometers on it. Right?
65. What color was it?
Silver with a red interior, with
Yeah.
the red stripe. It was a Future with the deluxe hubcaps, too. And it had Humbrol paint on the wheels to outline them in red.
Did it have rear view mirrors?
Yep, and everything.
Oh
It
wow.
was a semi-load. It was bought used from a woman.
Oh,
Right? Oh, it was a beautiful car. I
so
love
it
that
was
car.
loaded.
Yeah, that car wasn't allowed to get dirty, ever. That car always had a wax job on it. It was always washed. My dad wasn't allowed to drive it to work unless it was clean. I made sure of that.
So your mother, she bought furniture every few years to
Yeah.
redecorate the place,
And lamps to go with it.
and lamps and painting. How about that?
Yeah, when you smoke in the house, you got to paint every couple of years.
Oh, okay.
We'd wash the walls down, and the water was pretty dirty. A lot of nicotine and tar in that, right? Lots
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, it was brutal.
So did she color? Did she paint any colors, or
Yeah,
you-
her and my dad, they were busy. Yeah,
Oh,
had
they
the
were.
turquoises, all the 50s colors were in the house.
Yeah.
And the plaster in the house, it wasn't gyprock, it was all plastered walls. And the plaster who built the houses wasn't a good one. The rumor was he drank a lot, and you could tell. So it took a lot of work to make that place look good. So there was lots of patching to get it up to snuff. And there was a
Yeah.
lot of complaints about how rough the plaster work was, right? But the rest of the house was solid, the doors were good, floors were good, and the kitchen was good, and the bathroom, because it stayed there for 35 years, and nothing was changed except the color. It was the same floor. My dad added some plastic tiles to the bathroom upstairs. That probably took 2 years. That was it. That's the only thing I remember my dad.
The bathroom was upstairs.
Yeah, and one bathroom.
You had one bathroom, and that
Yeah.
was upstairs.
Then we had the basement, which was all full of firewood.
And what color was the bathroom? Do you remember the tub and the
Turquoisey,
turquoise?
as I recall, right? And no, maybe it wasn't. It could have been white. Could have been just good old-fashioned white. I think it was. Yeah, because I think the bathtub was white. And you know what happened with bathtubs then? Too much Ajax. You wore the finish all off them, right? Ours was the same.